Hello, thank you so much for joining me again today, and Grace. Recent studies have shown that procrastination isn't bad after all. According to Adam's Grant, he says that procrastination is a virtue for creativity. So, the guest for today is Felix. He is a media and creativity specialist. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
So what do you have to say about this new discovery?
Well, for me, the creativity is a process whereby you can think on your feet, as it were. But when you procrastinate about things you are supposed to do, things you are supposed to, targets you are supposed to meet, for me, I think it dampens your creativity.
Okay.
Because in the real sense of it, to test your creativity, you have to be in a particular situation, then get yourself out of that situation by thinking fast, probably much more than some people. But when you delay things, okay, I'll do this tomorrow, I'll do that tomorrow, at the end of the day, when you actually do that particular thing, it might not bring out the best thing you could have done. Basically, that's what I feel about it. And also, when you procrastinate, you're actually delaying or slowing down your capability, mental capability, because if we actually make our best decisions when we are faced with things we never thought we would be faced with. For example, look at snakes. For example now, snakes actually, their natural instinct is to run from people.
Okay.
But when they have nowhere to run, that's when they turn around and attack. A normal snake the first thing will not be to attack you. But when he has nowhere to run, then the next thing is to attack you. So also as human beings, when we are at our lowest and we realize that we are actually on our own, that's when some of us get creative.
Okay.
People that actually want to go to that extent to be creative, that's when we get most creative. If you read stories about people that are actually relevant today, like Steve Jobs, all these other people, they will actually tell you that they got most of the ideas, bright ideas, from when they were actually down.
Okay.
When they're actually on their own. That's them being creative. But now let's imagine that somebody like Steve Jobs got an idea to start making phones or develop things like Bill Gates and all.
Yes.
Probably did not post, okay, this idea, okay, I'll see what I can do about it tomorrow. Probably tomorrow I'll see what I can do about it. And then later it's still there, I'll think about it. Now, they could have lost that. They could have lost the urgency of that. They could have lost the purpose in itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I know some people, basically, once they are alone, they have a pen and paper with them. If they think about something, they write it down and they act on it.
All right.
But even before, I didn't used to do it too. Before I got there, there are some things that you might think of on the spot that may be gold in code.
Okay.
But once you don't act on them, you lose that touch. You might actually even forget the idea. So that's why I feel when you procrastinate things, it reduces your creativity. You might think that, so probably at the end of the day, when you think about it for a month or 2 or 3, fine, I have an idea, probably. It might not be your best work yet.
Okay.
But when you think about something on your feet, from there you can grow from it. That's my view actually about the whole thing.
So in essence, you're saying procrastination can actually lead to laziness in a way?
For me, I believe it's laziness.
Okay.
Because if you can still walk on your 2 feet, you can still do something.
Right.
If you can think about something on the spot, you can do it. Fine, even if it's a business idea, and you think that, oh, it's a lot to start, you need capital, you need something, at least start from somewhere. Even if it's building the concept of the whole thing, start from somewhere, make a move. Don't just postpone it and say, okay, I'll write about it tomorrow, I'll do something, blah, blah, blah. It will happen in the basic touch of the whole thing. So.
Right. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by an expert in psychology. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show. For those of you joining us, we are talking about the relationship between procrastination and creativity. Mavis is a business psychologist. What's your take on this topic?
I am for it. Research has actually shown that procrastination can increase creativity. According to Adam Grant, he even advises us to take out time, set out goals to procrastinate, because when you procrastinate, you're open to wider thoughts, wider ideas, different ideologies. You're able to see things from a different perspective. You're able to jot down. And I can actually relate to it because sometimes, for example, when I was doing my project, when I procrastinated, I realized I wrote more. I could understand more. I was flowing according to Chicks and Behind. But if I write at that moment, okay, I just want to get it done. I'm limited. I have limited resources. I have limited ideas. I am limited to just what the little I know. I've not been in contact with people to really understand and get wider, broader knowledge of it. Then, according to Adam Grant, he made mention that the best speeches in the world were rewritten on the last day. For instance, the great speech of I have a dream. He said that speech was rewritten over and over again. As a matter of fact, while his colleague was talking, he was rewriting the script, and eventually what he ended with was what came up while he was making his speech, not what he had written. Take for instance the Mona Lisa painting. The man painted it for 16 years. He felt like a failure. He also wrote in his journal that, is anything really done? Little did he know that during that 16 years, he couldn't have painted because his attention was diverted. Little did he know that the diversion made him a better painter and made him model light in a different way, which made him who he is today. Okay. So I would say that yes, procrastinating is but the right procrastination can make you creative.
So how do we know the right procrastination?
For example, most creative people, they know when they are more creative. Okay, maybe a writer is meant to write. He sets out a day, okay, today I'm going to write. And unfortunately, that day comes, and for some reason, things happen beyond his control. If he says he should write at that point, he will be distracted. He won't produce what everybody knows him as a creative writer to produce. So he will procrastinate it to a quiet time when he knows that he's at peace, his mind everywhere is settled, and he can write fast and wide. But when you have the wrong procrastination, they just give you an assignment. Due to laziness, you don't want to do the procrastination. That can only increase your burden. That's what I think.
Right. So let's go back to Felix. What do you think about what she said?
Well, I understand her point of view, but the thing is, now, let me paint you a picture. She said something about our project, yeah?
Yeah.
That at some point. Now, let's assume that you have a limited amount of time for that project, and you're like, okay, fine, I'll think about it, I'll do some things, blah, 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 blah. But you don't actually start till, let's say a week to the end. Now, what you're doing is that even if you come up with something good, you were limited in your thoughts in some ways. Now, let's assume that you were given 2 weeks, and you started immediately. Even if you are not going to submit the exact thing you started with, you will have developed on that particular thing. And your work will have been much more. Because the truth is, there's no idea that is a waste or that's not relevant. You can only grow on it. Even if you have to go from one old topic to the other, you actually went from somewhere. So you're actually developing on that particular thing. But when you start at the late hour, you actually deprive yourself of some things that you have done before that particular thing, which will have made your work actually great, not good.
Okay, so in that instance, you can start, like according to Adam Grant, you make out time to procrastinate. You can start immediately, like you rightly said, but you don't have to end that time. In fact, what I would do, or what he said, rightly said, was that you can start, then purposely delay what you have started.
Okay.
Then go back to it after a while. Sometimes it happens to me. after a while, I rewrite, like when I was working on my last chapter, I had to go back to rewrite everything because I saw it different. I could now understand from people's perspective. After I had done my interview, it now became clear that, oh, okay, at first I was just drawing conclusions until I met with people, until I could come across wider knowledge. So it's okay for you to start. You don't. The problem is, it's not who finishes first; it's who is better.
Yeah,
it's not a matter of finishing first.
Yeah, people say that it's not. Yeah. I understand. It's not about how soon you finish. It's about how well you finish. But the truth is, if you don't start on time and gain experience as well, you won't finish well. That is just the truth. For instance, now, see this. I was saying something about when you procrastinate, you're actually shortchanging yourself of some other things you could have done well. And I'll give you instances. Now, when you procrastinate a particular thing you're supposed to do, you are doing two things to yourself, which might not be good. You are making yourself feel bad internally and externally. And I'll give you examples. Now, let's say, for instance, we are siblings, brothers and sisters, and Grace here is our friend. And she said something one day, probably pitched an idea to both of us, and I'm like, good, that's good. It's something we can develop on. But probably you now say, okay, fine, I'll think about it, I'll see what I can do about it. We'll talk about it later, Grace. We'll talk about it. But probably the time I heard about it, something sparked in me. And I started researching about it. And the very next day, I started doing something about it. Now, let's assume that we don't see each other after that day that she said that thing. And you don't do something about it, or you're still thinking, oh, I'm looking for a perfect time to do it, something. And I've already started, and I'm growing. At some point, even though we are siblings, let's even say we are twins, you'll be happy for me that I'm making headway. Am I right? But deep down within you, you'll be like, oh, if I had known, I would have started this immediately too.
That's why I said the right to procrastination. Not every procrastination will lead to creativity. That's why, if you want to procrastinate, you know yourself. That's why I say an artist or a creative, someone who creates a lot, an artist, they know when they are more creative. They know when they are more productive. They will not just go, okay, out of laziness or something to say, oh, I'm just procrastinating. No. Every man or every creative artist knows at the best time when they are more productive. That is the reason for their procrastination. While the wrong procrastination, like what you said, for different reasons, not for creative purposes.
What would I say? The creative people, I'll not say that they procrastinate, but I get what you're saying. As an artistic person also, there are so many things that can inspire you.
Right.
Like I might just be walking and see something that, okay, I could talk about this thing, I could write about it, I could sing a song about it. But one mistake I will not make is leave that thing to the next day.
You can pen down your thoughts.
Yeah, I know. When you even pen down, you are doing something.
You know, no one is saying you're not going to do anything at all.
Of course, I get
you. Know what I mean?
But even when, you know, there's this thing, when you pen down,
yeah,
you might relax. Do you know that?
Yeah.
When you pen something down, or even people that use, what's this notes, clip notes and all, they can write and stick notes and stick there. They can also relax. And probably, okay, wait for the perfect time to start writing or something. That's the mistake people make. That, okay, once they write something down, okay, it's there, I remember. No. But if you don't grow your thoughts as regards that particular thing, or you actually don't, it doesn't give you, if you have an idea as an artistic person, that idea doesn't give you a sleepless night. You are doing something wrong.
Okay. So from what I can say based on what you both said is, you are saying that you don't need to procrastinate. You have to take action because procrastination can lead to laziness. And that is when you have this active mind. And you are also saying that procrastination can aid creativity as long as you consciously procrastinate. Yeah. Because some people can unconsciously procrastinate due to laziness. You know, okay, I'll do it later and start looking for reasons to even procrastinate. Yes. All right. So we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for coming. You're welcome. See you next time. Bye.